welcome to the Post-Human Podcast.
So, today's guest, and this is going to be another good one, folks, the creator of the Mavcast podcast network and host of the Mavcast, the Mavtech podcast, and the Backyard Pitmaster podcast. That was a mouthful. Jeez. Charlie Maverick Smith. Whew, that was a hard introduction. I set that up almost for a fail. How are you today, sir?
I'm
Again, sorry, that was a very long introduction. I don't even know why I'd set it up that technical. But
well,
how
you know what? When I do my intros, I have to say that mouthful too, and trust me, I know it's a lot.
it's have you ever thought about just doing it like as a pre-record?
Yeah, but the laziness sets in, and I'm like, well,
Uh,
I'll just say it when I say it. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, you've got a lot on your plate. Like, I've looked at your blogs, I've looked at your show. It's fucking damn good. The cooking aspect
Thank
of
you,
it, I've never listened to a cooking podcast, so fantastic there. Um,
thank you.
which we'll get into that in a bit. I've not listened to any of the tech side ones yet. But the first thing I want to say is like 8 years in, holy shit! Like I
Yeah.
was scrolling down because I was just gonna, well, I was just having a generic look, and I was like, man, we're going like 2013, which is
It's actually a little bit longer than that. It was at the end of 2012, but I lost some of my back catalog, so I'm still looking
uh,
for it. Yeah, back in the day, we just had RSS and you had to put in a torrent and you had to save it over maybe this cloud drive. And then you had to put it somewhere out there so people can grab it. And there wasn't a lot of avenues out there, to disperse your podcast. But like now, anybody can do it now. But it was a lot of work. So I lost a lot of stuff.
that's a shame as well because that's 8 years. It's fucking. It's like, I mean, a lot of people, I've only just started out recently, so when I've seen someone that's like 8 years deep plus, you're like, fuck. What made you want to start out?
Well, I'm traditionally a singer. I was a professional singer back in the day, and then I kind of always liked the aspect of audio, everything audio. I'm really like a enthusiast of. So I stopped singing, and I started to grow a love of radio. And podcasts were kind of new at the time, so I kind of was like, "Hey, there's got to be a different way for me to express my talents other than standing up in a room and singing. Like, how will people, you know, look at me in the future? What's my legacy? What can I put on wax? So something will be timeless. Like when I'm far long and gone, how will what content am I going to put out there? So I just started to get on the mic and talk, and people started to listen. I was like, oh, maybe I can keep this thing going. And then I wanted to do some tech. I wanted to do some comedy. I wanted to do a whole bunch of other stuff. So this was the only way I can really, communicate, all the ideas in my brain because I hate writing. I did blogs for a little bit, but I ramble too much.
Well, even when I looked at your blog, I was like, "Geez, it's pretty. It's even when you explain each individual show because they're down in lists. So you've got like the icon, the picture, and then you've got this huge piece of text, and it's like, "Whew, geez." And I was reading through that, and I've scrolled down again, and I'm like, "Oh man, there's like five of these," and then it went down even more to to the
Yeah, man.
food to the food that you have, because you've got pictures on there as well that you've cooked and stuff. But I was like,
Yeah,
wow, so much. It'd be a long blog to keep up. Um, I can't
it
imagine.
is.
I love writing, but I couldn't imagine doing that much of it. So I completely tip my hat off to you because it's a lot of work, like a hell of a lot of work.
Yeah, it's too much. I
Probably.
write enough during work. My day job. all I do is write emails and process documents. I'm like, I'm not gonna write anymore.
That's what I was going to ask. User acceptance testing, is that something to do with your job? Because when I was looking and just
Yeah,
getting a bit of
so
stuff about you, I was like, what the fuck is that?
yeah, I
User
work in
acceptance
the
testing.
I'm in the hospitality industry, but I'm in the tech sector of it. So whatever products they roll out with for hotels and customers, I'm the person that writes the test cases to execute them, and I'm the last pass before everything goes to the live system for everybody to use. So everything has to come through me.
That's pretty cool.
And I do things for any type of software that's related to hotels. So yeah,
I
it's
mean,
it's
it's a
fun.
strange niche job. Like,
Yeah.
you sure you've not got clones? Because you got like, you got
I have a first cousin that looks exactly like me, so maybe I
uh,
do.
doing some of that prestige type business. You ever seen that film where there's
Yeah.
yeah, man.
Yes. Yeah.
That's what's going on.
Wasn't that Hugh Jackman?
Yeah, Hugh Jackman and
Yeah.
what was the other dude? It was Christian Bale.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, Christian Bale.
Yeah, man.
It was a bad film.
Dope
Um,
movie.
so even when we were speaking, want to get back onto the cooking aspect of things because I'm a huge
Mhm.
barbecue fan. A
Oh
big
yeah.
barbecue
Okay.
fan. What made you start your cooking podcast alongside all of the other ones?
Well, I went down a lot of YouTube rabbit holes trying to perfect my grilling skills. And then I was like, you know what? I do this a lot, and I go around to different places, and people always ask me questions about, what the technique I use, because you know, you'd be surprised how many people burn shit out there. It
Yeah,
just they just think you throw it on the fire and everything else happens. So I'm like, why don't I just put something out there? Because I'm an enthusiast of grilling and smoking. So let me just put something out there to kind of help people, or get people, comfortable with wanting to grill more. Because I mean, that's the oldest form of cooking
yeah,
when you
yeah,
look at it for humanity is we built a fire and we cooked the damn animal and everybody crowded around.
yeah. That's
you
literally
know
what happened. You know, I
yeah.
that's why I love it. It's just so it's really primitive and especially when you've got like a
Mhm.
party or something and you make some really tasty shit and you put some work into it. You know, I've had I do a lot of slow cooking, like a lot of smoking as well. But normally I'll
Mhm.
do like a sort of 3 day slow cook, like on a big,
Ooh.
like a piece of pulled pork or something, or um,
Oh man.
like I've done it with like at Christmas. Occasionally, I'll do it mostly at Christmas, but I'll do it for like 48 hours, really slow and just. I'll send you some pictures after the show. Again, I wished
Please do.
I've thought about doing one myself, just one singular podcast. But barbecue season's almost over now, so I don't really.
Well, no. You know the thing about it. I don't know where this commercial thing happens with selling grills and all that, but I think they got it wrong. Because if you look at it, just think about it for a second. You're in
I mean,
winter,
winter
right?
would be a better time
Yeah, yeah.
in a way.
So they start off the grilling season in on Memorial Day, and it just progressively gets hot as shit after that. And you're over a hot grill, so you're doing nothing but sweating, right? I get the whole like family reunion type things and all the holidays, 4th of July and all that, but the real grilling doesn't really start until football season kicks in. College and professional American football, that's where everybody tailgates. So the wings fly off the shelf, the briskets fly off the shelf, all the stuff. People are buying grills just to go tailgating. So I think the fall is the perfect time to grill. Perfect. I even like
Yeah,
grilling in the snow. I have done that
yeah.
many times.
Well, I mean, we get a lot of, excuse me, we get a lot of really crap winters here, you know. But it would be even, you know, because I do like a lot of big fires over winter because it's just
Mhm.
nice to sit out in the cold and then you've got this big fire. So I've occasionally thought about doing a barbecue then, but it's just, you know, just it just wouldn't be one of those slow ones standing around in the rain. I couldn't. It's
No,
really windy and rainy. You're like, oh, this is so unappealing,
nah,
so unappealing. What's
that's not fun.
what's one of the most favourite things that you enjoy cooking? I do like briskets. Briskets are pretty good.
Yeah, I would have to say spare ribs are
Mm.
my favorite. Um, I think it's because I grew up eating spare ribs. My dad would grill spare ribs most of the time if he was on the grill. That was kind of his treat after working long hours, in the warehouse or whatever. He's retired military and all that. So it was like a big treat. Whenever he lit up the grill, it's an event. It could be just a simple salt, pepper, garlic, maybe some seasoning salt, but just so many things you can do at ribs. And I mean, anybody that eats pork, I don't know. I think that's their real go-to
Yeah,
because
definitely.
it brings back a bit of nostalgia.
There's
I
a
think that's what it
Most
is.
people just cook them wrong as well. There's like a bit of an art to cooking ribs,
Yeah.
which is a most people don't realise. They just stick them on a barbecue and or on a grill, and they're pretty rubbish at the end. there's there's no
Yes.
there's no tenderness to them. They're just like I don't know. You just pull. You can't even really pull them apart. They're chewy. You know. You don't want
Yeah.
like a really
It's not good.
chewy like get stuck in your teeth a lot. I've got these shitty gaps in my teeth, so always consistently pulling bits of meat out. If I ever do one of the slow cooks, like a brisket, it's terrible.
Yeah, I think what people mistake with ribs is you have to take the membrane off the back
Yeah,
if you don't want that little chewiness. I mean, it's preference, but if you really go to the competitions or the really good barbecue restaurants, they're gonna take the membrane off. They might cheat and do like a score of it, like sliding a knife through, but you're still gonna get a little bit of chewiness regardless, unless you take that off. And it got to be like really, you got to put thought into it. I think people also think with grilling, you slap it on the fire, and as long as you slap it on the fire, you're smoking, you're a grill master. No, there's
you're a
more
grill master.
techniques to go into that than cooking inside for me, because let's think about cooking inside. You have a temperature controlled oven.
Yep.
Stove for the most part is pretty controlled, but the fire, unless you got a pellet grill, the fire is temperamental, especially with the weather, and you have to respect it, and you have to make sure it respects you. So there's a partnership there. And then there's techniques of how not to burn the shit out of your meat, not so it doesn't taste like rubbish. And you don't want to be the person. You don't want to be the person at a large event, like a family event, that they talk behind your back because you fucked up the food.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. I mean, it can happen so easily as well with like chicken. Chicken's an easy one. So if you've got like drumsticks or whatever, people can always fuck them up. Even then,
Oh, constantly.
what I tend to do is I let it like burn down, so I get rid of all flame, get the right temperature, whack everything on for whatever, and then I'll tend to get it a little bit crispy at the end. So I'll then
Yeah.
get a bit of fire going, and then boom, you know. I like a little bit of crispiness, not nothing.
Yeah.
Not where
Need
it's
some texture.
burnt.
Yeah.
Yeah, not where it's completely black and burnt, and you're peeling it off a grill. Like I've seen that shit, like peeling it off, and half of the skin comes off. You're like Jesus,
Hey,
like
trust me, I've been there before. I have fucked up a lot of pieces of meat before I got good.
oh yeah, it definitely takes like a lot of practice. It is an art. It is a
Yeah,
weird art form, grilling. I love it.
it is.
I mean, I can cook as well, but if I was to, my preference is barbecuing and grilling.
Oh yeah.
Do you cook anything else, or is it just grilling? You ever done any like slow
Um,
cooks or any strange ones? Ah, Lex.
um, well, I try to do a balance of inside and out. My wife is, a master at the cooking on the stove and all that, and I handle the outdoor stuff, especially when we're trying to eat a little healthier. So, I mean, I try to do even like stews. I have
Mm,
like, and I think everybody needs to get like a really nice cast iron,
yeah, yeah.
like a pot set, because the Dutch oven version of that, you can cook a nice like any type of stew on there and get that. If you put that smokiness in there, that adds a flavor dynamic you're not going to get from inside. You're just not going to get it. And I like to try a whole bunch. I do have a large brick of tofu that I'm planning to smoke for the first time. I wanted to see how that goes.
That sounds. I don't know what that's gonna. That could be weird. It's
I have no
not.
idea.
There's not much flavor to tofu.
No,
Smoked
you gotta
tofu.
like season the shit out of that thing.
What are you adding it with? What are you using it with? Or are you just gonna eat it? Like,
I don't know yet. I saw it on YouTube, like another rabbit hole I went on, and I'm like, it's easy enough. You just gotta put it on there and collect smoke. It does, to your point, it doesn't taste like much, so
mm,
you gotta season it. Now I don't know what I'm gonna season it with. Could be the same thing that I season my pork. Could be the same thing I season chicken. I just don't know what I'm gonna use it for, but it's only like a couple of dollars. Like if I fuck it up, it's all right.
yeah, yeah. Do you make your own rubs and like sauces and stuff? Because I tend to fuck about a lot with mine. Like, I go really crazy with some stuff. Like, sometimes it's good to get a little bit experimental.
Yeah, I mean, I'm good with my rubs. For the most part, I have a base salt, pepper, garlic. I use kosher salt, coarse ground pepper, and if I can find it, roasted garlic powder. That's my go-to. Put it
Mm.
in there equal parts, shake it up, and you always have that in a shaker. I do use store bought. There is a couple that I combine with it. One is called butt rub. I feel
Butt
weird
rub.
every time I say it. Butt rub, yeah, yeah,
There's
yeah.
worse named
But
things
it's
out there.
awesome. It
Trust
is.
me. There's
But butt rub
yeah.
and they got Malcolm Reed, which is a world renowned pit master. He has a brand called Killer Hogs. Now I use that exclusively on ribs that I'm selling to people. I don't use it on my own ribs. It costs a pretty penny, so I use it sparingly and only when it's going to have a return on investment. But yeah, the sauces. I suck at making sauces. My wife usually dabbles in that while I'm actually putting the stuff on and off the grill. She makes her concoctions. She never tells me what it really is. That's her secret. Just in case, I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna
Yeah,
recreate
yeah.
it and fuck it up." So, she
That's why I
handles
like
that. So it's
making
it's kind of like
sauces.
teamwork. Yeah.
You just like your own little thing. If you've got your own little sauce, and everyone's like, "Oh man, I really want some of that sauce." Like, what the fuck's in it? Like, I'm not telling you for shit. Like, there could be anything in there. You ever tried like
Anything.
slow cooking like a ham or like a pork shoulder in like Coca Cola or like a soda pop? That's damn good.
I haven't.
You should. It's
I've
very good.
seen it, haven't done it. Would, I'd see how the carbonation would break down the muscle taste, at least like a Sprite first, because I like to see how the chemical breakdown works first, like the compounds. So I want to see how tender it gets with just the carbonation, and then I want to see how like the caramelized flavor from the actual dark soda comes in, and see how that works. But yeah, I'm willing to try it. So you say it's good, huh?
Yeah, it's really good. You can use anything. Like Dr Pepper is a really good one.
Love Dr
Surprisingly,
Pepper. Yeah.
strangely enough as well, if you get like sort of apple like Tizer kind of stuff, like that's another
Hmm.
weird one. You get some really. I've tried loads of
Okay.
strange. Some of them don't work. Like you can try pretty much anything. Anything will work, but some of them will taste a little bit strange. But
Yeah, could imagine.
it's good for experimenting with them, but it can get a little bit costly after you've made like four porks that are fucked up. You're like, oh, this is like,
No one wants to eat them.
yeah, yeah. You're like, oh, it's big fucking 3 pounds worth of pork. Oh, my feet. I need to stop crossing my legs. Yeah,
Yeah, I
this.
have that habit too. I'm actually doing that too. Let me switch up a little bit.
Yeah, I keep crossing them, and I'm on like the corner of my desk, and because I'm
Yeah.
so close with my chair, they keep hooking over each other. So I'm like, ugh. It's like I've velcroed my legs together. I have to keep unhooking them apart. So you spoke a little bit about like grilling and rubs. Where'd you sell your
Mhm.
meat? That's one thing I didn't know. What do you do? Sell it online or?
Not yet. My wife and I are trying to start a catering business, so we take a small number of food orders, mainly from like coworkers and folks in
Okay.
the neighborhood. Trying that out. I kind of wanted to get things kicking before the pandemic, but the pandemic happened, and then tried to do it during the pandemic, and everybody and their mother was trying to sell dinners. So I mean, it was just crowded. The market was crowded. So now that things are going a little bit more back to normal, trying to find some clientele, some consistent things, and events are starting to happen again. People are having gatherings. So eventually, Maverick Barbecue is going to be LLC, and we can
It's a good name.
really get something out there like a food truck or brick and mortar. That's what we're going for.
Well, I'd imagine that there's quite a lot of empty properties, like storefronts and shit, because a lot of places have gone out of business this side of the pond,
Ah,
well,
you'd be
and your
surprised.
side, I'd imagine.
I think I think what happened, like I see that happening in some areas, but where I primarily live at, it seems like people took like PPP loans or did fraud or something, and they got an ass load of money. And I see them fulfilling like there were some office like spaces or store spaces that like they had people on the docket to kind of take it over, but they dropped out maybe because of the pandemic. But there's a flood of other people coming. I don't know where to get the funding, but hey, good for you. Yeah. So the market does recover somehow. I just don't know, but yeah, it does scare me though. Opening a restaurant does scare me because something like a pandemic can happen and I can shut down because the world shuts down. So I don't.
It'd be straight. I mean, I
Mhm.
can't imagine it shutting down again anytime soon. Like I don't think the economy would be able to take it like at all.
No.
Uh,
Mm-mm.
I mean, I know like parts of Australia is still pretty bad, and Canada's. I don't know. I don't even know what's going on with them at the moment.
They're not even saying anything.
Yeah, they've gone silent on the whole thing. Like, I just don't. I mean, the problem is there's just so much news. It's just always overshadowed by more news, and it's kind of crazy. A food truck could be pretty cool though. I've always wanted
Yeah.
one of them myself, but like on the side of like a motorway or something, so like a truck stop kind of deal.
Yeah,
But I
that'd
used
be
to.
perfect.
I'm a good like breakfast maker. Can make bad fry ups and stuff like that. So I always wanted to just be one of them people that just made like egg sandwiches and fucking burgers or whatever on the highway. I thought that'd be a
Yeah,
cool
man.
job. Just 9 to 5. Clock in, make some
Yes.
food all day, have a chat with random
Oh
people
hell
come
yeah.
in and out, like, and it'd be cool as fuck.
I can see you
Super
doing
cool.
that.
It'd be a
I
good
can see
job.
you doing that. You should do that. Yeah. You
It's
should
just
definitely do that. I mean, hey, if it doesn't work, you always got podcasting. I'm just
Yeah, yeah.
saying.
Well, I'd podcast at the same time. That's the thing.
Oh,
Is
well,
I'd
there you
just
go.
yeah, that's the thing. It's like if you was I was talking to a friend the other day, and he was talking about being a security guard, and I was saying it's probably one of the best jobs because if you're just doing static work, you can fit podcasting in or whatever. You've got like 8 hours, and as long as you're pretty on the ball, you've got a lot of free time. You can learn a lot more. Like if you was to do a job like that. So if you've got something where
That's
you
true.
can cook
Yeah.
and video alongside it, I think yeah, it could work. It'd be a bit of a dodgy setup though. It'd be cameras, get greasy and shit, smoke and everything. I don't know. I think they have to be
Oh
like
yeah.
GoPros or something. Um,
Something. Yeah. That grease buildup is something nasty. Yeah.
yeah, I've done like front of house and like kitchen work. Not kitchen work, but like when running plates and shit like that in the past. And some kitchens I've
Hmm.
been in, I'm like, ooh, that's a lot of grease.
Yeah.
And it's like
Yeah.
when that shit sets on fire as well. There was like a small fire in one of them, and it was just. I was like, "Fuck, man, I'm getting out of here." Like, fuck your protocol, man. I'm gone. Like, see you in that car
I
park.
got to save my ass, man. The
Yeah,
building has insurance. They don't cover you.
yeah. I just grabbed my bag and just went into the car park. Like, to the fire point. Fuck that. Like, come on, people, let's go. Like, nah, I'm going. Like, get out of town. You round up everybody else. It's not. Listen, it wasn't selfish, man. Because
Hey,
I just wanted to get out of there,
how
man.
can you save someone if you don't save yourself? You know what I'm saying?
Well, not even that. What would I be able to do? Could jeopardize.
Right.
Could jeopardize him. Could try and save someone.
Yeah.
Fuck up, slip up on some oil. Imagine that.
Yeah.
That'd be terrible.
Yeah.
Them
Some
kitchen
Final
floor.
Destination type shit. Yeah.
Big pan of oil comes fucking spilling on my face. Yeah, that'd be a
Ooh.
game. You ever spilled
Yeah.
oil on yourself? Oh,
Yeah. Well, not. Thank God, not on my face, but yes,
yeah, I got it on
man.
my
I
foot
tell you.
once. Oh,
Ooh,
horrid.
yeah. You know, we fry fish often, and yeah, sometimes it just pops, and yeah, you feel it.
Oh,
I don't
those.
shot a
Oh.
pistol before. Have you ever shot a pistol and the way that the shell exits it, I had a 22 pistol one time. I don't know why I did this, but it shot backwards like this towards your body and it landed on my arm. I'm like, something tingles. I'm like,
Ooh.
oh, why is the bullet stuck there? You know,
Burning
grease
into your
feels
skin.
like that. Yeah, man.
Oh, that's the worst.
Grease sucks.
Hot metal when you get burnt by that really sucks. Like the next day as
Yeah.
well. It's never really in the moment. Even with oil, it's like you got that big ass blister. Oh,
That's right.
I've had like whenever I fry eggs, I fry them really fucking high, and then I'll flip it over. So I'll just obviously flip it so it's like the sunny side down, and then give that a quick little, just a 5 second, this little burn. And I was doing it the other day, and I was shirtless, and I flipped it, and it just went spat so much oil everywhere, and it went all over my chest, on my fucking
Oh,
arm. I
man.
was like, it was one of them moments. But the problem is, I think it was like 2 a.m. or something as well. I'd just come off a show, and I was super hungry. So I had to contain my scream as well, because I didn't want to wake up my son. So I was like, turned it fucking right off for a bruise.
Oh man.
Yeah, there's been a few moments over the last couple of weeks in the dead of night where shit's just got stupid. I tried to hit a moth.
Yeah, we talked about one. Yeah. Yeah.
I tried to hit a moth several weeks ago with a tea towel,
Mhm.
and I have like tea trees that have cups on them, so they like hang on the like they're on like the window, so it's like it's just like a pole with like pegs on it where you hang cups. And I went to whack this moth, missed completely and smashed most of my cups. And that was at like 3 a.m. So it was, it was crazy. I've got the audio of it because I was talking to someone after the show. So I was like, listen, I'm just going to get this moth. Bear with me 2 seconds. And there was just this crash of like cutlery and fucking porcelain. And it was, and the bad thing was, like, nobody woke up. And I was like, what if that would have been a burglar? Like, and I'd have still been like, what if I'd have still been like in studio, headphones on, and someone just broke in and smashed the window or something? No one come down at all. I was like, holy shit. I was like, did you hear that crash last night? She was like, what crash? What the fuck you on about? What crash? Like the crash where you've got no cups now, you know?
Oh man. You know what it sounds like? You don't need to do anything like after 2 a.m., you know?
Yeah.
Because that's when things start to fuck up for you.
I think it might have been like a little bit later than that, but because most of the people that I do shows with are like Eastern Standard Time and stuff like that, and I'm in the UK, I like to do late shows.
Oh yeah.
So
That's right.
I like to do the occasional midnight show as well, and I'll have a little drink and get a little bit tipsy and get a little bit high, and then it just shit just gets wild then, and again then I'll come in and I'll start eating a load of shit.
Are you high now?
Yeah. Well, I smoke CBD, so.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
yes. Big fan of CBD.
Love it.
You ever tried it with food, like with grilling?
Oh, I mean, I tried it with anything. Yeah.
I think it was last year. I just ground up some bud and put it on like the top of a burger. So I'd put constructed all my burger. There was like maple bacon, crispy bacon on there, like a huge fucking burger. There was some grilled cheese, and then I just ground up some like bud and put it on the grilled cheese. And then I didn't tell my partner. I was just like, yeah, have this burger. It's going to be amazing.
Oh shit! You surprised? Oh shit! No,
It
you
was
can't do that to people, man.
yeah, no, she didn't mind, man. It was pretty cool. It was all good. It was all good.
Oh man.
It was pretty mild anyway. It was only CBD, but I was just for
So
flavor.
how is how's the whole scene over there in the UK with CBD and marijuana? Because I know it's kind of
Mm,
getting more, you know, I don't know, they're loosening up with it here, but not everywhere. So
yeah,
how is it over there?
there's shops where you can buy like CBD bud. You can just go in and buy the bud, but it's minimal THC, something like
Yeah,
0.8% or some next to nothing amount.
right.
Um, I think it's going to change soon. We are like in the world. The UK is the biggest supplier of medicinal cannabis. It's a fact.
Ooh.
It's kind of crazy. Like I
Yeah,
don't know where they're
it is.
growing it all. I think it's all underground. I think it's all underground somewhere. It's the only explanation that I can put it because I've never seen it. I did watch a really cool Vice documentary the other day about these. It's like called guerrilla growers. So they go out into like the wild and they just
Hmm.
essentially plant just like 200 plants in the middle of some fucking motorway like overgrowth. So they'll go into this little forest bit, find a little fucking section, dig it out, and then just leave some plants there, like for the summer.
Holy shit.
And I was like, wow, that's something I want to go looking for. Just like I'm a big fan of the outdoors, and if and yet again, I've never stumbled upon 200 plants by the side of a motorway, but that'd be
Neither have I,
no. It
but
was a
that
great.
sounds interesting.
It was a really cool. I think it was
Yeah.
like only 20 minutes, but it was like,
Oh
huh, I
man.
didn't know anything about that, and they've literally just because our climate is crap. We can't really grow anything. Like can't grow cannabis outside properly. Not
What is
decent.
it like? Always overcast or
Yeah, it's always
something?
it's just always overcast and rainy and it's just always wet and windy all the time.
No, that's
Um,
whack.
but summer it's pretty hot at the moment, but people have now just made it so that they've just uh, crossbred fucking strains to make this plant that can now grow outside. And apparently, it's climatized to the UK climate essentially, but I don't know.
Wow.
I can't see it being any good. You know, growing. I mean, anyone can grow cannabis. It's easy, but it's
But
not going
is
to
it
be.
any good?
It's not going to be any good. Could be pretty
Right.
whack. I was also on watching a documentary just after that where it was about the. Have you heard of like spice, which is like the synthetic cannabis? It's like they
Yeah.
made that legal
Yeah.
version that just wipes people out and turns them into zombies.
Yeah.
Extremely addictive.
Yeah.
Well, in certain countries, they were just growing shit weed and just spraying it with spice and then exporting it.
Mm.
So
Mm.
it was pretty fucked up. It was
Oh man.
a strange documentary. I was like, huh, it's kind of scary because you just don't know
Yeah.
like what you're now smoking. If you go and buy
I
dodgy fucking shit anyway.
Yeah, that's one thing that has me worried about if it is fully legal and it's commercialized. Like, how much are they going to really cut it and make it synthetic? Just to make the dollar,
Yeah,
because it all depends on how their bottom line looks and how they want to, diversify and expand. I mean, they fuck everything else up when it goes into mass production. I have no hope that they won't fuck that up too.
yeah. Well,
I don't.
it's like again, this was another documentary. It was about Humboldt County. There's like a play. Well, the documentary was called like Murder Mountain or something like that, and
Mm,
that's what. And basically, it's just where people went out there and just growed mass amounts of weed, like illegal growing and stuff.
yeah.
But it was just when they legalized it, and basically just because it was so fucking hard to still get, and you still had to get like a medicinal license and whatever,
No
and
man.
then you had to go through the channels to get, to be legit. So there was just going and fucking off out into this, into the wild, and just basically just growing these big setups, but screwing everybody over, and there was just murders and fuck it. It was crazy. It's a crazy documentary. Like people were just going missing, and it's
That
fucked up,
sounds
man.
like I want to watch this.
It was a good. It was good. I think it was on. Might have been on Prime. On might have been Prime. Could have been Netflix. It was one of the two.
Yeah, send me the name of it later, and I'll definitely check it out. That sounds like something I would watch.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of documentaries. Like it's all I seem to watch nowadays. I don't really even watch the news that much because it's
Don't
just
watch the news.
no,
Nah,
it's just
nah.
the same story every day at the minute. It's just
Yeah, they're
COVID
just
variants.
trying to scare the shit out of you. Yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah,
there's no point. You can just burn your brain out and just oh,
yeah,
it's like most people that are just watching it as well. They're just that's all they can talk about. It's like oh well, let's talk
yeah.
about COVID today or oh great again.
Like, I mean, what new do you have to tell me today than what happened 3 hours ago? You know what I'm saying? I think the whole cable news 24-hour cycle kind of like screwed all the journalism type things up, where you just got to do it for ratings. You got to pay for those people that are broadcasting around the clock, and they'll just do anything to pull you in. Fear mongering. I don't know. Just I don't know. It's
Well,
terrible. Yeah,
it's a lot of things, really, isn't it? You know, there's
yeah,
so many different fucking propaganda tools that they use that you
yeah,
could get into it all day. So you said you
yeah,
used to be a singer. What kind of
yeah.
music do you sing?
So I was a traditionally trained singer in the chorus class, and I sang with gospel groups a lot of the time.
That's cool. That's super cool.
We would, yeah, we were called the Chosen Instruments. There was, we would try to be like the boys to men of gospel, but they already had people out like that. um, we would sing like old school quartet type of gospel songs. It was real fun. And then I tried to go out, solo a little bit, trying to do some homegrown stuff. I did a little producing of my own stuff. It didn't really go far, so I was like, that's what I made the choice. I'm like, I could keep trying to chase this shit, or I just go into podcasting.
It was crazy. I'd wished I'd have because again I used to sing years and years ago, but that was mostly like kind of punk kind of stuff, indie and well, just varied really. I'd just sing random shit. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
but I wished I'd. But I wished I. I mean, I only found out about podcasting like 4 years ago.
Hmm.
But it was crazy when you look at how like how old it kind of is now. You forget about
Oh
that. You
yeah,
go shit. Well, this has been around for what is it? Maybe 15 years plus. I don't know.
yeah, yeah.
Maybe
Yeah,
it's
I
been
think
a while.
I think it's about 15 years. Yeah, because I remember the Apple event with Steve Jobs advertising podcast, and it was what is it, Adam Carell or something like that. He was an old uh virtual DJ on MTV back in the day, and he had a podcast. And he was the first one, and then there was Leo Laporte. He's a tech podcaster. He's been out maybe like a few months later. So yeah, it's 15 years, a long time.
I know
It's
Tom.
evolved.
I know Tom Green had one as well. It's mad to think that some people still haven't heard of him as well. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I know friends that are like, oh, what are you up to nowadays? Oh, I just do podcasting. Like, what the fuck is that? I'm like, what? What do you mean? What's that? Like, where the fuck have you
It,
been?
it feels like it
Like,
feels like those same people are the ones that never heard of audiobooks either. Like, you can listen to
oh
them read.
yeah.
What the fuck is
You can listen to him read.
that? Somebody read me a bedtime story? Oh, this is awesome.
I've never, do you know, I've never, I don't think I've actually listened to an audiobook. I don't think I have. I thought I might have tried. The problem is, I'd have to listen to the right person.
Yeah,
You
you
know,
do.
I listen to I fall asleep to a lot of podcasts and or whatever bullshit. Like I want to, a lot, most of the time it's just probably some cartoons or some animation or something just to wind down, or the occasional comedy.
Yep.
Mostly comedy at the minute. A lot of fucking people are back on the scene now, and so there's a lot of new specials coming out. And
Oh yes, love stand-up comedy. Oh man.
who's some of your favorite comedians?
Oh, let me see. I mean, I can go down the list of the old traditional ones. Richard Pryor. I
Big
do like
fan.
Bill Cosby. I'll put it out there. People people
It's,
people give Bill Cosby shit. But Bill Cosby has one of the classic stand-up specials of all time. um, but nobody does it better than Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, that's what
Nobody,
Dave
nobody.
Chappelle's is amazing.
Yeah,
Again, every time something new of his comes out, I'm straight on it. It's a shame because at the moment the people at, obviously they don't have cameras in there, which is I think is a perfect idea. But you get the
right.
occasional like, douchebag that goes in there, somehow manages to sneak a camera in, and then you'll be on YouTube, and you'll be like, oh man, I don't be, you'll be like Dave Chappelle, bang bang. And I'm like, oh, I can't really watch it, but there's that urge. You almost feel like you want to watch it, but you don't. It's almost like you're betraying like the game. It's like
Yeah,
they didn't want the phones in there. That set's going to come out on the special. You kind of want to save it, but it's so tricky to not press play. You're like, you son of a bitch. It's like getting a spoiler for a film
yeah,
in a way. Like,
yeah. I totally get it from a business perspective because just think if we had something built up that we were working on like a project, right? And we wanted to have it come out at a certain time to have a perfect context in the moment in the universe. And some asshole was in the room with us at the time and just happened to, we didn't even know, just happened to take the photo and leak it out on the internet. I was like, man, what the fuck? Like
yeah,
you buried the lead. you know? I totally get it. I respect it. I know Dave, he checks all that stuff at the door. I don't know how people sneak it in. They must be they must smuggle drugs too, to maybe to put in their cavity. I don't know.
I
But
don't know
yeah,
because
phones are waterproof these days.
well, they make you put them in like magnetic bags or whatever it is, so they don't give us. I can't remember what they are, but they are specialist like designed bags, so that they don't give signals and shit like that. Or,
Yeah,
um, but
that's
I
right.
can't imagine how they'd sneak one in. You'd have to get either a really small, like button cam, like a spy cam, like that is just totally, or a pen, like one of those old pen cameras, like and
Oh
just walk in,
yeah. The
put it in your,
douchebag pin cameras.
yeah.
Yes.
Imagine that.
like
Get to, yeah.
what are you videoing, guy?
Well, just imagine turning up to a comedy event and you've like the only way you'd have to pull it off is in a business suit and you've got like a pen in your pocket. Like people would be going like, "What the fuck? Why is this dude bringing a pen into a fucking comedy set? Like, can I have that pen, sir?"
Like maybe
It's like,
he's
"No,
an
you can't have
agent.
my pen." Yeah, yeah. It's like, "No, you're not allowed my pen. I need this pen at all times. I'm a businessman. Check the suit. You're not taking my pen." I'll put it in his fucking briefcase. That's also a camera. You know,
Right.
it's
And now he's
fucking
just a goddamn spy, you know?
yeah. He's got a camera in his shoe. Some special thing underneath his fucking soul or something.
Oh
Damn, man.
man.
I don't know how they do it, man. It's got to be some way. It's got to be some sort of spy cam, because it can't be.
Yeah.
Someone would see it as well. Because if I was in the audience and I seen someone with their phone out, I'd go, bitch, man. I'm gonna fucking smash that phone. Put it away. Like
Yeah.
just because
Just stopping the show. Yeah.
rude
Boom.
as fuck,
Yeah.
man. Like
Kick them out.
it's super rude. Super
Yeah.
rude, man. Like some of my favorite comedians. I mean, I'm a big fan of Dave Chappelle, but I mean, even Eddie Murphy. Like he's meant to be coming back into comedy,
Oh
which I can't wait.
yes.
I can't fucking wait for.
So
A
waiting.
big fan of Charlie Murphy as well. Obviously, fucking
Oh,
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Charlie Murphy, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man. Yeah, man.
he's fucking so good. Like I was watching. I love just the stories. The stories are fucking amazing. Like I'm
Oh,
not,
the one with Prince.
yeah, I'm not even just talking. I'm not even. Oh, for fucking! I know. I put that onto somebody the other day. They're sort of they do a well. It's just transgender, and she
Mhm.
is putting out a single. But was talking about like some of her favorite icons, and Prince came up, and I said, "Oh, have you ever seen this?" And she was like, "No, no, no." And then I was like, "I'll send it you after the show. You'll love it." So obviously, after the show, I sent to the obviously the Chappelle show fucking Prince story, and it was just again I got back like just multiple laughs and fucking it was such a great story. Some of them are amazing. Have you ever watched any of
Have
his
you ever
specials?
wanted to go to somebody's house and put your foot on
Put
their
your feet all
couch
over his
and
couch.
say, "Fuck your couch"?
It's oh my god! Even though the sort of Rick James story, man, it's so funny. The back and
Oh
forth.
yes.
Like cocaine's a hell of a drug.
James, man. Hell yeah.
It's
Hell yeah.
fucking brilliant.
What did the five fingers say to the face? Oh man,
It's
that's good shit
crazy.
right there.
Some of that is so funny. Have you ever seen his
Yeah.
comedy special?
Who Charlie Murphy?
Yeah, yeah. There's a
I
special on
think I
YouTube.
might have saw one. That might have
Um,
been the one I saw. It must have been from years ago, but I believe I saw it
it's
because
got
he
like
didn't usually do stand up that much.
no, it's got like the in the background. There's only a couple on YouTube. They're so hard to find because I mean, I just like I could binge listen to him all fucking day, but there's not much
Yeah.
out there, unfortunately, apart from small clips. And I found this fucking like 1 hour. Might have been like 50 minutes or something, like 58 minutes, and I was like, yes. But in the background, it was like his fucking. It was like there was like white sofas and then like blue sort of neon letters, and that special was fucking wild. I was watching it about. I got up at stupid o'clock the other morning. It was like fucking 3:30 or something.
Mhm.
If I wake up, I'm up. And I just woke up, come out, had a smoke, and then I just put that on. And yet again, it was just me trying to contain laughter and not wake people up. So I was just fucking howling, man. It was
Nobody
just
wakes up
so.
no matter what you do.
Oh
This is
no,
a problem, dude.
yeah. I mean, I was literally howling, like when my sides were hurting. And there's very few
Ah,
times where, do you know when you're just laughing and your cheeks hurt after? Like you've,
yeah.
jeez, it was so good. It was one of the best. Fuck it, I'll send it you just to see if you've just in case you've not seen it.
Yeah.
Even
Oh
then,
yeah, please do.
there's a couple of um, decent comedians up on the rise at the minute. Have you ever seen? Well, in fact, no. Before I get onto that, one of my other favourite specials that I watched recently.
Hmm.
There's a comedian called Sam J, and
Sam J.
she's got a special on Netflix, and it is fucking another one of them hilarious specials.
Hmm.
She kills it,
I wonder.
like absolutely
I
kills it.
probably did. Probably we watch a lot of stand-up comedy. We actually look every night to see if there's something new. I'm probably watched it. The name doesn't jump out to me, but that doesn't mean anything because
No,
I'm
no,
bad with names.
no, me too. There's very few. It's like people when people go, "Oh, what's like your favorite?" Like if you're talking about films or something, I always forget actors these days. Like I'm terrible at it.
Oh
Fucking
yeah,
terrible. I need one thing I did do accidentally. I recently watched Suicide Squad 2, and
yeah.
I went on to Twitter because I mean it was a good film. I wouldn't say
Yeah,
it was amazing, but it was good. And I like John Cena's
the
role.
weasel.
Yeah,
Follow the weasel.
that weasel looked fucking weird, man. What was the point of that thing? Just with his strange eyes and fucking weird mouth. Why did it look that way? Like CGI nowadays, and the weasel looked fucked. It looked so deformed. Like I don't even
It
know
was
its
modeled
point.
after a cat. I think a comic book cat character. I don't
Ah,
remember the name, but James Gunn said he modeled it just after that because the cat looked fucked up too.
yeah,
Really fucked up,
that
mangy
thing
as
looked
shit.
weird. I mean, it's
It
like
was hilarious.
it's just like their version of even then fucking that stupid raccoon, Rocket Raccoon. It's like their version of that,
Oh
but it's
yeah.
just like complete opposite. It's like that one's got wild fucking guns and can fly and is in space, and then this one just has weird mangled eyes that just
And it can't
deadpan
swim.
eyes. He can't swim.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. Yeah, it's fucking drowning and shit. What the fuck was that? Oh, it's crazy. But yeah, I've
Hey,
gone on
so
to
do you remember that scene before they jumped into the water? And it was rocking back and forth, making noise. You think it was trying to tell everybody on the plane that I can't fucking swim? Let's not
yeah,
jump.
maybe. I mean, it doesn't even. That's what I mean. There's no communication. They couldn't communicate with it. It was pretty pointless. How could that be on the Suicide Squad? I need to know more. I need to look into it more because there's clearly some shit that I'm missing, like
Yeah,
massively missing. But
yeah.
if,
Then they had a
I mean,
big ass
all of this.
starfish.
I mean, we should have said spoiler alert to be honest, but it's tough shit. I already got.
You
This was
know.
the problem I did the other day was that I accidentally tweeted. I was like, "Yeah, man, John Cena's role's great, but he'll have the next film. He'll have to
Yeah.
have a fucking prequel." I know. And then a podcaster was like, spoiler, dude, and it was sad face, and I was like, oh
Oh, come
shit.
on.
So I did the honourable thing and deleted it, but I've just said it all again now, so kind of gone completely.
Nah, you know what? I tell you what, there's something. It's different with that because it was on HBO Max, same day release as the theaters. Everybody had an equal opportunity to view it as soon as
Mm.
it came out. If you haven't seen it by now, you haven't prioritized your time enough to see it. That's not your fault. It's not your fault, man.
Poor time management skills.
Tell me the fuck off, man. That's not your fault.
Yeah, I kind of tried to be a bit polite, and I didn't mind. But
Yeah, that was nice.
they should make a prequel. They should,
Yeah,
because
they
it was a
should.
super
Yeah.
cool character, man. It was a super good character. Probably one of
I
the
think
best characters.
he's supposed to get his own series. I heard.
Yeah, well, that's what I heard. I told my fucking partner. I was like, I deleted a tweet earlier. She was like, oh, what for? And I was like, this the John Cena, blah blah. And she was like, you do know that he's getting a series anyway. I'm like, fuck. Should have kept it now. The news was
Spoiler
already
alert.
out there. Yeah, spoiler alert if you didn't know any of that. We've said it after, so it's tough shit, really. Are you a fan of like superhero films?
Oh, that's all my wife and I watch that and horror films, which I'm yeah, that's another story. But yes, I'm deep into Marvel comics, the whole cinematic universe. I love that. DC's getting better. They
Yeah,
can
they're on the
still fuck
rise.
shit up. Yeah, but yeah, I watch a lot of them. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, I've kept up to date. I've not really watched any of the Marvel series, so I've not seen like Loki or any of that shit yet.
Oh, please do.
I've heard it's
Yes,
pretty good, um,
it's worth it.
but it just means I've got to buy Disney Plus again. But I'll probably do it when the Mandalorian hits because I'm a big fan of that.
Oh yeah,
Mandalorian's
that
fucking
was so good.
it was
That was
amazing.
surprisingly good. It's
I
better
mean,
than a lot of the last Star Wars movies, like the last two or three Star Wars movies.
yeah,
That series is better than that.
they sucked. I always
Yeah,
thought they should have made a solo Chewbacca film because that would have killed. Like that would have been everyone loved fucking Wookiees and Ewoks. I think
yeah.
they should have just made rather than a young Han Solo, they should have made like a young Chewbacca.
I
But
want
they should
another
have made it.
Ewok movie. Yeah, I want
Yeah,
that.
we all love Ewoks. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not even a big fan of Baby Yoda. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh,
I
you don't
think
love Baby? Come on, man.
it's cute for
Baby Yoda's
people,
cute.
but it is cute. But I just think there needs to be more with it yet. I don't know. I'm I'm not saying I'm not a fan. I think it is cute, but I don't know. I don't like it when there's too much hype about certain things. It was like Game of Thrones. It took me years.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
I watched Game of
I still
Thrones
haven't
like
watched it.
season fucking 7. Oh, you should. That's amazing. Watching it is pretty good. It's pretty good.
I
It's
gotta try it. My
one of
wife
the
keeps
best
telling me
fucking
I gotta
seasons.
watch it.
Yeah, I mean, if there's so much that you can watch that you just takes time. If it's like an hour a fucking episode, and there's like 8
Yeah. Yep.
seasons. That's a long time, and it's time you never really get back. So again, you do have to
Right.
prioritize your life somewhat. Do I really need to watch it? I don't know. Whatever it is, fucking it must be 100 hours, something like that. I don't know.
It's a lot.
Probably not.
Yeah.
It's got to be over fit. Yeah, maybe 50 to 100, 50 to 100 estimated. I don't know. It's got to be
Hell
around
yeah.
that. What kind of horror films? Because I'm a
Um,
fan, but I like old horror films. New ones, a bit touch and go.
I don't like the teeny bopper shit. My wife, like, okay,
The teeny
I hate,
bopper
I
shit.
hate, I hate horror films, but my wife has me watch them, and I'm getting used to them. So, like, the stuff from the Conjuring franchise, I think they have a movie dropping today called Malignant. So we're watching that. All the Stephen King stuff.
Yeah,
If
big
it's
fan.
Stephen King, we're gonna watch it. That's just yeah. But that's mostly it. The I mean, stuff like Freddy Krueger and Jason. I mean, I watched it, but I'm not a whatever. I mean, it doesn't do it for me. Child's Play, whatever. I had one of those little dolls that kind of look like Chucky. Scared the shit out of me. I'm like, I'm not doing it. Yeah, I'm not gonna do it. I have nightmares. I'm not gonna fucking do it. So yeah, it's just those ones that they really put their time and energy into. They have really good storylines. They probably are gonna have an exorcism. This man's fucked up.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's those man that really do it for me. How about you?
yeah. I mean, I'm a big fan of like some of the old slashers. You know, the Freddy and stuff like that. I like some of them. Some of it's a bit cheesy. So like, you know, when they get to like the fourth or fifth film or whatever, especially with Friday the 13th, you know, that gets really
Oh
campy
yeah.
and cheesy. It's kind of more humorous, you know, and it's fun. It's fun to watch more so than, you know, you're like, oh, what's he gonna do next? You know, same thing with
Right.
the Fast and the Furious franchise. You know, what are they gonna do next? They've gone into space. You
Uh
know,
yeah. Yeah. You
itchy
had to
nose.
bring that one up. Jeez. I hate that movie. My wife
Yeah,
and I were talking about that yesterday. I hate that fucking movie, dude.
I've not watched it yet. I think I've not watched it from four, five. I don't know. Maybe even
Yeah.
Tokyo Drift. Fuck knows.
Oh,
Tokyo
you
Drift
know
is
what?
like a game, isn't it?
Terrible. No spoiler alert, but there's parts of Tokyo Drift that carry over to this movie. And
Oh.
one of the reasons why I hate the fucking movie.
I mean, I don't know. This
I love the
the one
franchise.
thing
Hate the fucking movie.
the one thing that I did see that just dropped was the new Matrix trailer. That
Oh, yeah,
like dropped. I think it was today or yesterday.
yeah,
Have you seen that?
yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
quite
We
sure
watched
what's.
it last night. I'm looking for Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah,
I
it's
was kind of
not in it.
confused because I know he was in the
Yeah,
filming of it. So I don't
I
know,
heard he's not in
but
it.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I heard Lawrence Fishburne's in it,
Yeah,
which
not
is
in the trailer
weird.
though.
Yeah,
But
no, I don't think he's in it at all. I
mm-mm.
think it's been completely replaced. But I don't understand how they're going to explain so much stuff. Like, because that
It seems
trailer
like
was,
there's a multiverse, right?
yeah, I don't know. It seems strange because I mean, it looked almost like some of it was a copy from the first one. So like for a minute, I was like, oh, they're just redoing the first one, aren't they? Because it was, you know, sort of
Yeah.
scenes were the same, but little changes. And I don't know. And then it started to get a bit different, and I think like visually it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's to pick up the storyline. Mm, it's going to have to be pretty convincing for me, and
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's been a while since they made the third one, so it
Yeah,
it has to make sense. Right now, I don't know if it makes sense. The it seems like a totally different franchise right now. There's
yeah.
bringing back a couple of characters. Okay, what's her name? I forget her name. His love interest that died in the third
Oh
one.
yeah,
What
yeah.
the fuck? What? She's back.
She's
Hey.
back, and then there's that little. Oh, there was a thing, a moment in it was like, oh, you look familiar or something like that, and it was like, huh, what's going on here? She's back, and it's hard to say. I think they're just in the Matrix again or some. I don't know. And what's
Now,
all those blue? Keep taking them blue pills as well. That was strange. Like, why does he keep
you
taking these
know
blue pills?
you know what I did think about? So you remember the last scene of the third one when the Oracle and the little girl were walking, they were in the park or something,
Yeah, yeah,
and everything just calmed down. I wonder if it did a reset on everything, and they're actually doing the Matrix kind of over, and nobody has memory because what happened to Neo? Like he manifested what into this light energy, and he
yeah,
beat
yeah.
the machines. But it, like I still
Light,
don't fucking know what
yeah,
happened with that. They gotta
yeah.
explain the ending of that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The light energy. How did you come back from that? It's so much unexplained stuff. I'm looking
I
forward
don't know.
to the second Avatar. That's going to be fucking badass. Again, it's just been so
Who's doing
long.
it? Who's doing it?
James Cameron.
Thank God. Do you know what they need to remake the first one? Because M Night Shyamalan fucked that one up so bad
That
that my wife and I left the movie.
that weren't M Night. He didn't do Avatar. It was James
Oh,
Cameron.
you know, I'm thinking of. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm thinking of the Last Airbender.
Oh, the last the last Airbender.
Oh shit, my bad.
Oh
Damn.
yeah, no,
Yes,
that
Avatar.
makes
Oh
sense.
yes,
No,
I
that
can't wait
makes
for
a
that.
lot of
Yeah.
sense. Yeah, yeah. The last Air. Oh, that was a terrible movie. I can't really say I was keen on that. I like the
But
cartoon.
Avatar.
Cartoon was sick. Yeah, the Avatar
Av-
was going to be good. Yeah,
yeah, I can't
the
wait for
last
that.
Airbender. Oh, that was wild. I mean, I fuck stuff up all the time. That was a good one. That's like I don't know. I don't even think M Night did the Last Airbender as well.
Yeah, he did.
Did he?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Huh. I mean, he's always
Yeah.
doing them weird fucking films. Um,
Yeah. He's
I'm
on
not
the
really.
list.
I'm not really say I was keen on his. Obviously, he did his like little trilogy of superheroes in a way, didn't he? You know, with the Glass and Split,
Oh.
and then
Yeah. Those were
it
good
was
though,
okay.
but you know.
Mm,
They're
it's not
not
really
they're not really
traditional one.
rewatchable like that, but they're all right.
The Watchmen. That's probably one of my favorite comic book films, like of all time. It's just got a great, strange storyline, and it's got
Yeah,
a great
about
soundtrack.
climate change.
Climate change.
It's all about climate change.
That's the subplot.
Right.
It's climate change. I don't see how it could be. It's
You know,
could do.
that was the joke.
They
There's a
kind
joke.
of yeah.
Mostly Americans are gonna get
It's a
because one of our
cerebral one.
dumbass senators jumped
Yeah,
on Twitter and said it was about climate change.
yeah. It's a cerebral one. You know,
Yeah,
but it's a good one.
but yeah, it was a good movie.
You ever thought about doing comedy yourself?
Nah, you know, I can't remember lines that well. So if I write material, I'm just gonna forget it.
Yeah, but there's those people that just go out and wing it. You know, they can do it in their head, and you know, you can bullet point stuff out. You know, like
Yeah.
you could briefly bullet point a topic, and as long as you've got that topic, and you know, it's just practice. I want to get into it myself at some point, but
Yeah.
it's just shit's still opening up at the minute, and a lot on my plate.
But how do
I
I
had kidney
mean,
stones, and
you can't really say the stuff that you want to anymore. Like I don't know, comedy just feels like they're trying to kill that last art form.
hmm.
That's what it feels like. You know, the jokes that could fly before, and you know, it's not even trying to be mean with saying it, but you just can't deliver it the same way. It makes it a little bit more
Well,
complicated. Everybody
there's a
wants to cancel you these days.
there's a few people. I mean, don't get me wrong. Well, have you heard of Tony Hinchcliffe? Um, does the podcast
Mm,
Kill Tony? It's pretty good. If you're
never
a
heard
fan
of
of
him, but
if you're a fan of comedy, I'd highly recommend it. So
okay.
they get like guest comedians on, like on a little panel, and then like a person will get called out of like a bucket to just do 60 seconds, and then obviously they'll have a little interview with them after. Um,
Hmm.
it goes pretty wild. Sometimes people just bomb like fuck, but some people on there are damn good. There's a comedian on there at the minute, but there's a couple of regulars that go on there that are fantastic. Um, but I'd highly
I'm gonna
recommend
check
it.
this out.
It's a
Yeah, I gotta
great
check
show.
this out, man.
But he there was a bit of a controversy with him and comedy not long ago, and basically someone tried to an Asian person tried to cancel him with what he said, and it kind of didn't work, and it reversed back, and now that comedian can't get hired at all, which is
Oh
pretty
man.
wild. The fact that because I'll send you the set 'cause it was a fucking funny set. You know, and people nowadays would go, "Man, that should be getting cancelled," but I don't think anything should, because there's a lot of backstory to it, and again,
Yeah.
the guy, you know, is a fucking weird story, but and I'm butchering it, you know, which doesn't help, you know.
Yeah, I mean, like even on the podcast, I can't go in as hard as I want to.
You should.
Um,
I think you should.
I mean, it might be jobless. You know,
Yeah,
I just you know
maybe.
the wrong person hears it and then gets back to
Yeah,
you know how that
but
goes. But
that's why you just get plastered. If you just get see if you just get plastered and not drop your episode on that night before you go to bed, it's not so bad because then you can just
yeah,
go to bed and
well, that has
kind
happened.
of
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Well, I'll
people.
tell you about a time that recently where I had to kind of pull something back. So I was trying out this paywall thing, and I had some bonus content. I really wanted to go in on cancel culture. So this was recent, and I put it behind the paywall. It was one of those ones you couldn't really get to it so easily. So a few people heard it, and I sent it download to some other people, and they were like, "Hey, you okay?" I'm like, "Why are you asking me? I'm okay." This is like, "You're not gonna post that, are you?" This is like, I'm like, "Yeah, it's behind the paywall." You know what? You got to keep that in the lockbox, man. I mean, I loved it. but they're gonna fuck you up over it.
I'd
Well,
like to know what
and
it
then
is,
my wife
honestly.
listened, and she was like, "Yeah, you can't put that out there." So yeah,
Yeah.
had to do that.
What was it? Briefly, without
Um,
fucking
uh,
yourself up, if it's that bad.
I mean,
I mean,
it
that's no
was
wild
about
shit
the
on
whole
times.
thing. It it was. I mean, it was like, oh man, I can't remember exactly what I said because I said some borderline, shit anyway. But it was more of the fact that you can't, if people identify as something, you can't call them the same thing that they're identifying to because they'll get mad. I'm like, I thought that's what you want me to call you. Sorry, you know,
Right.
stereotypes. Some
Yeah,
stereotypes are
yeah,
funny. That's fine. Black people are late sometimes. That sometimes that happens. We embrace it sometimes. You're like, let's be fashionably late. There's a whole term called being fashionably late.
yeah.
You just don't want to be the first person at the goddamn party. You might get in free if you get early. You get there early if you want to, but it's not fun yet. You just stand around hoping people show up. Fashionably late. The party's already set. You walked in, everybody's looking at you. You get, give me a bottle. We're having
Yeah.
fun. You know what I'm saying?
That was a big thing as well, like in the fucking 90s and the early, like, well, for a long time it's been it was a thing to be fashionably late to parties and shit. Like, it was a weird
Exactly.
culture to do so. People have wrote jokes about it,
Yeah.
about everyone being so fashionably late that no one fucking turns up. like,
Yeah.
like
You,
everyone's
you
all trying
know,
to outcompete to be fucking late. to be the
I,
latest.
and I think it as long as it's not from a place of malice, it you should be able to say it. As long as I'm not trying to hurt somebody's
Yeah,
feelings,
yeah, yeah.
which I never am, unless you piss me off. But if I'm just coming off with a joke, I mean, I'm trying to say it in a way that it won't piss you off or won't hurt your feelings. But if you do, I mean, that's more of you than me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's what I think that's what every podcast is just trying to do. You know, well,
Yeah.
some of us anyway. Some of us have honest intentions. I mean, I've yet to meet someone that has, gone fucking crazy and had a whole bunch of views that I mean, I'm pretty moralistic, but I've yet to have someone that I've had to go, hey man, that's a bit fucked up, which is quite a
Yeah.
shock, yeah. It's
Yeah.
so strange. There is a weird sort of, I don't know. I mean, the podcasting community is good. There's a lot of us are just honest, decent people. No, I can't
Yeah.
imagine that the percentage of scumbags is high at all.
Hmm.
I've yet to see any.
It doesn't feel like scumbags would really put the energy into it. Like if they
Yeah.
do, the sound quality would be so bad. It just sounds like they probably held up their phone while they're on the toilet taking a shit. And it was like, because they're scumbags anyway, they're like, oh, I hope the sound from the background, you can't hear that because they're assholes anyway. They're like, I don't care. And they just want to be mean. Yeah. I don't think they want to put in the work to have a quality product. Uh,
yeah,
and if that's the case, stay on that toilet, please.
yeah. That's true. That is pretty true.
Yeah.
It's. I mean, There's got to be a few out there. I'm going to try hunting for some at some point. Not to get them on, but just to see
What?
what.
you,
Just,
you want to hunt for
just.
scumbags?
Well, look, yeah, just hunt for their shows, just to see if there is any.
Oh,
Like, just to see what, because there's got to be some podcasts out there that have that are not
that's
even
terrible.
terrible production, but that you just can watch and you just go, wow, where the fuck is this happening? Like, what's going on in this person's
Uh,
mind? Just to
it's
try and.
probably yeah. They
It's
they
weird.
probably do like what
They've got to be somewhere.
what was those sites that got deplatformed last year? I can't remember all of them, but
Oh, there's
I
been
think
loads.
they yeah, I think they would post them there, and there might
Yeah, that's
be
what I was going to
you
say.
might have to search for Patreon because a lot of those people are crowdfunded and the strong believers and strong followers, and those are some assholes, and
Yeah,
they
yeah.
should be deplatformed. But yeah, you'd probably find them there.
It's like I'm a big conspiracy fan, and most of the sites you used to get tons and tons of old shitty sites where they'd have really bad graphics and animations. It'd be like spinning fucking 3D things or whatever. Stacks of them, like stacks and stacks. The more graphics, the more the person seemed wild and in on whatever they believed. And a lot of those you can't find nowadays, which sucks. Because I like to go down these fucking strange rabbit holes. And lately, I've been trying to find
Oh,
these
there you go.
lately I've been trying to find these sites again. And I just can't find them. It doesn't matter how hard you search. You can get like 9 pages deep on Google, and it's just like the same shit. And you're like, man, these really are gone. Like, there's got to be somewhere that you can find them. And even then, I found one through Reddit. Like, I was trawling for about 2 hours.
Reddit.
What a great way to spend time. And at the end of that, I did find one website. And then when I went on there, most of the videos all went back to YouTube and was all removed. So I was like, you prick.
Yeah.
I was like, this is a public sourced fucking website and you couldn't even get a video provider? Like, Jesus, where was that money going? Like, still got the domain name up as well, which, like, still got to be paying for that.
Yeah.
So why don't they just
that's not free.
Yeah, I don't get why they don't move it up to like Vimeo or something, or one of those other weird.
No.
You know, there's another one as well. It's like that. You just wild, shitty things on there, but they're all crap. They're all weird adverts as well. You can't get rid of the adverts on there. Yeah, sucks.
That's right.
So let's talk about your actual fucking podcast, because we've gone way off topic, but that seems to be what happens quite a lot. So what's with the Maverick? Because obviously there's a lot of, Mav, and even then you've got it in your name. And is it a legit middle name, or is it like, did you legally put it there?
That was my stage name when I was a musical artist. It came out with the name Charlie Maverick. The Maverick is more of the fact that I approached things unorthodox, like, and I didn't want to be labeled in a category. So I was a little strange. Not the music per se, but just my persona, the way that is just I just want to be different. So that carried over into everything that I do now. I have it tattooed on me, so I have to kind of live with it. And it kind of rolled off the tongue with people. I had different names of the shows, like I had named after just myself, but that was boring. But people just really latched on to Maverick. People actually thought it was part of my actual name for a long time. I didn't tell them any different either, but I mean, it's just a name that I don't know that sticks. So I put it in the podcast name, and I like to listen to this podcast called The Verge Cast. And when I listen to the Vergecast, because it's been around for a long time too, when I listened to the Vergecast, I was trying to find the name of my actual podcast for long term. I'm like, wait, Charlie Maverick? Some of my friends call me Mav. I'm doing a podcast. I threw ideas. I'm like, hey guys, how does the Mavcast sound? They're like, nah, roll with it. Yeah. I was like, okay. So it just stuck.
It's a good name. I don't think you should have the podcast name after it. Like a
Don't?
Mavcast podcast. Nah.
Because I see the redundancy.
Yeah. It almost then well, it doesn't quite take it away, but it's almost meaning the same thing. If you replace the word pod with Mav anyway, people will understand that straight away, unless they're fucking, retards or something. I won't worry about that. I could say that. You're all good. I've got like 3 toes on my right foot, and I call it retarded because it is retarded. So I can say that. You're all good. Don't worry about that. We all have got some. See, this is one thing that I do like is I used to hate it, but then when I started podcasting, I was like, a lot of people out there and comedians have these weird fucked up things, and they can kind of hide behind them in a way. Even now, a lot of people are doing that with their weird tribal fucking shit. They're getting, a lot of people are tribal. They're getting into little groups and stuff, and then hiding behind fucking terms. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do that my fucking self. So got a legit reason. Everyone else has.
Yeah.
People have got less reasons as well. People are just fucking. People are just depressed. I'm like, well, aren't we all?
Yeah, that's right.
Fucking, well, we are at some points. What made you do the tech side of it? Is just because of like your job, or was it something that's always fascinated you with technology?
I got interested in mobile technology when before that, I always was interested in like cell phones. So any new cell phone that came out, even back in like 2000, I was always on it. When the smartphone came out, then I was the person that would jailbreak and put ROMs on phones and just soup it up, overclock the CPU and stuff like that. My buddy and I would just totally listen to tech podcasts at the tech podcast at the tech podcast and then watch videos and try to recreate the stuff and just keep up with the Joneses trying to get. I got like a phone every 3 months. So it was like, I got a lot of stuff to talk about. So why not put that in podcast form? Over time, however, over time, it kind of, I don't know, the market's flooded with that, and it doesn't seem like it's a unique type of content delivery style. So slowly over time, I've kind of veered away from doing tech focused content, but there are some people out there that keep asking for it. And not that I don't mind, but sometimes it feels forced, um, you know.
I know what you
But
mean.
yeah, I try to do it more like in a tutorial way now. That just not keeping up with the tech news. It's like a little stuff that would help you with Wi-Fi. Like if you have Wi-Fi set up, you want to do a smart home, stuff like that, maybe, but not so much as I used to do, which is more in an editorial type style. Like whatever news broke that week, I would talk about, but nobody really cares, and I don't really care anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess I'm in a different place now. I don't know.
No, it makes sense. I mean, excuse me. The problem is, I mean, there's a lot of fucking different genres of podcasting, and so many of them are like oversaturated. And but some tech
Hmm.
ones are worth the watch. You know, especially. I mean,
Hmm.
you can't exactly talk about jailbreaking, but stuff with like computers. I recently started to watch one that I can't remember the name of it, but they was basically showing you how to increase the fucking RAM on your computer, and I was like, "What? You can do
Yeah.
that?" I'm like, "What the fuck?
Yeah.
Really?" It's
Oh
like,
yeah.
I was like, "Holy shit! You mean to tell me I've been using this minimalistic RAM all this time, and I can increase it to fucking almost whatever I want? Really? You know, I can increase it fucking
Yeah.
triple." And I'm like, "Fuck!"
And
I'm
the
like, "Gee,"
cost
and
of it
then
went down over the years too. So yeah.
well, there was just it was a good fucking 15 minutes, and that's what I like sometimes is these little short fucking these little short videos. I mean, I don't mind watching long stuff. Again, I tend to do long podcasts. It's
Yeah,
just the
me
best
too.
way to
Yeah.
it's the best way to get to know somebody, and the best way to
True.
have a genuine conversation, and it's a good form that works. And I don't know,
Yeah.
you can take so much out of it as well sometimes, which sometimes can probably be a problem. Again,
Yeah.
just
I like
me,
to leave
just
stuff in as is, you know.
yeah, no, it's just even then, you can just take that one word retard out of my fucking thing, and all hell breaks loose,
Yeah.
So, but I'm not bothered about that. I'll dispute that all day long. I don't give a shit. I mean, I like the what I never. I mean, when I was scrolling down the list,
Mhm.
you did like an audio blog as well.
Yeah, so that was the rename. It originally was the Mathcast audio blog, but as I started to add more shows and take away shows and all of that, I'm like, you know what? It just I want to do something new, and I wanted to focus it more on like a show, like a live streaming type format thing. So I do a lot of live streaming now, and I try to incorporate podcasts from like there's I have a team of people that are doing podcasts and other things, so I include their content into mine. So I was like, why don't I call it a podcast network? It might not just be my podcast I want to put on there. Maybe I want to create a central place for other content creators as well. I know that there's they call him the podcast godfather or one of them, Leo Laporte. He has the Twit network is what they call it, this week in tech, and he had at some point 25 shows, and he got to that point because he pulled in people that were doing their podcasts, and it eventually grew to this I don't know, empire,
Yeah,
and
it's just
it
like an
just made more
umbrella, isn't it?
sense. Yeah, yeah. And I always wanted to do that, at least for the past maybe 5 years. I struggled with it for a while. It was going really well when Google Plus was out, but thank you, Google, for killing that. Then it just I don't know, it just made more sense to change it to the podcast network now, which is one of the reasons why I have the word podcast at the Mavcast. Um, yeah, it's just I'm always tossing around naming conventions, always tossing around. So rebranding has happened many times, and it might happen again.
What's your reasons behind rebranding? Have you got any?
Uh,
Is it?
I mean, I'm not really huge. I'm not really a huge podcast. I have a huge following, so um, I take the liberty of trying to tweak it when I can. I work in product delivery with software too, so if you can ever iterate on top of things, like I ask the listeners sometimes, I ask friends and family, like, is there anything that you would change about this? Because sometimes it's just my idea without a peer review. And I'm like, how can I make this better? I take like a little survey maybe every, I don't know, anytime I really feel like I'm getting stuck in a rut and I'm looking for something to make better. So that's when the rebranding comes in. And if it just doesn't make sense anymore, I just change it.
No,
It's
that
on the
makes.
same RSS feed. They'll still find it.
Yeah, yeah. No, it makes sense. I mean, some people just have. Well, I mean, I've seen a few people on like the find a group thing, and they're always talking about rebranding. But they're just
Yeah.
a lot of them are just talking about doing it just because like the listeners have dropped, and I don't
Yeah.
necessarily just think that's the case. I think everywhere's just opened up. It's like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
happened to quite a lot of people. It's happened to everybody essentially because
Yeah.
we're
You
going
can't
out more. We're
can't
not
go into
spending
this
money.
trying to get rich.
No, no. Well, it is. It's for me, it's a hobby. I just
Yeah.
enjoy talking to people and promoting whatever they're doing, and it's fun. It is fun.
Yeah.
There's always something that I'll get out of a conversation as well. I'll always learn something new, or I'll take away a better opinion on something.
Hell yeah.
It's always a great thing to do. Who are some of your favorite podcasts that you listen to?
Um, man, so many. It's usually large corporate like publications. Um, I listen to Pivot. That has oh god, I can't remember the people's name right now, but they're funded by one of the large news corporations, publications. But the Vergecast, all the Twit Network shows, I more or less listen to those, and I listen to them more of a way to kind of refine what I'm doing rather than listening for good content. I listen to independent podcasts like yourself to hear the organic type of nature of podcasting, which makes it fun. And I get my ideas from the big popular people. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it makes sense. A lot of
yeah.
most, to be honest, most of the stuff I listen to is it's mostly just comedy based.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm a big fan of Joe Rogan.
Oh yeah, Joe.
You know,
Yes.
I mean, I've not had a chance to listen for probably about 4 or 5 shows. I keep having
Hmm.
fucking Spotify problems.
Yep.
I had no Spotify problems for years.
Mm,
Um, and then lately, just all of a sudden, it just
yep.
the problem that I did have it shoved this advert in, and then it just wouldn't load. So it
Oh.
like, and it'd be occasionally it'd be like 2 minutes in, and then for some reason it'd be like 45 minutes in, and you're just getting into it. Like there's a great conversation going and a
Yep.
great fucking guest, and you're like, oh, this advert, and you know what's gonna happen. You're like,
Yep.
fuck, it just buffers, didn't get anywhere. So I just had to remove it in the end. I think I'm gonna have to give it a couple of weeks before I listen to it again because it was just so frustrating. And
Yeah.
there's probably
Sounds
been
like
some
it.
really great guests on there.
Yeah.
I know. I think Tom Segura was on a couple of episodes ago, so I'd like to listen to that because he's a great comedian. Um,
Yeah.
it,
Yeah. I like him too.
it was kind of funny as well. Did you see the bit of news about? the ivermectin thing with Joe
No.
Rogan and all the. Well, obviously, people were talking about trying to cancel him and stuff because obviously of his views on COVID and whatever, and obviously then he got COVID, and then obviously just threw a whole mess of stuff at it. Which, if you got the money, you're gonna,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
no
Money.
fucking yeah. I mean, even then, if you can get a lot of cheap supplements anyway. You know, I take quite a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but there's a lot of jokes because what he essentially took was like won a fucking Nobel Prize in like 2015. But it was like essentially you can use it for like horses, and it's like a horse worming thing.
What?
But basically fucks up parasites. But then it was like
What?
tested, proven that it could do some stuff for like malaria and other stuff. And but basically, obviously, he took that, and obviously then the media just went fucking crazy about it. And there's loads of shit about it at the minute. Like there's talks that like they'd photoshopped over his face with filters to make him look sicker when he'd put a video out. It's just a bunch of wild shit.
Whack.
But yeah,
Man.
just a bunch of fucking crazy nonsense that
Shit.
you know it was
That's
pretty
too much
pretty
drama.
wild. Yeah, I mean this is why I don't
Yeah.
watch much news, but it's again I was just
Right.
scrolling through Twitter, and then there's a bunch of fucking memes. Like, do you know the Animorphs, like the old book thing?
Mm. No.
There's like a meme, and on this like Animorphs book cover, it's like a person that turns into like an animal slowly. So like it looks like a person, and then it goes a little bit like transparent, and slowly morphs into like a fucking bird, or it couldn't be anything.
That
And
sounds
basically,
interesting.
there's a lot of memes going around at the minute where they've just put Joe Rogan as like turning into a fucking horse or like a centaur and shit like that, and it's funny as
Man.
fuck, man. It's just created like more great content for the guy in a way. It's
Yeah.
every time they try, it just goes terribly wrong. So some people, man, they just, you know,
Bulletproof. You know.
yeah, bulletproof, man.
Yeah.
Like,
It's good for him
that's
though. It's good for him.
yeah,
He needs to be bulletproof. He's a national treasure. That's what he
yeah.
is.
Well, there's a lot of fucking. I mean, his comedy. A lot of people don't even like his comedy either.
I don't like his
Like,
comedy. I love his podcast though.
yeah, some people are really on the fence about his comedy. I mean, I'm a big fan of him all round. His specials are really funny, but we all like our own different things. I'm just a fan of pretty much all comedy.
Yeah.
There isn't many comedians that I don't like. Maybe some clean comics. I don't know. But even then, there's still some pretty good clean comics.
Yeah.
Seinfeld is fucking.
Yeah.
Jerry Seinfeld's amazing. He's a clean
Yeah.
comic.
He is.
I think one of the
Love
best
Jerry.
is Louis C.K. You a fan of Louis C.K.?
I was at some point, and then he reminded me of someone that I disliked. And I don't know. I don't know if it was that or the combination of a whole scandal that came out with him, like jerking off in front of Sarah Silverman. I don't know. But whatever. I mean, they canceled the hell out of him. Is he? I mean,
Yeah,
what is he
he made a
doing now? Is he doing stand up now?
Yeah, he made a comeback ages ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think he had a couple of specials out since then.
Oh man.
Like fucking killer specials as well. Like,
Yeah.
I'd definitely advise watching Kill Tony though if you're a fan of comedy. Again, some really good comedians on there.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll
YouTube.
try that out.
I think what day are we on? It's like end of the week, isn't it? It normally drops
Friday.
every it normally drops every like Monday. I think it's Monday nights.
Okay.
Like stateside, it's Monday nights.
Cool.
It's a pretty amazing show. I'm actually getting a little bit peckish, so we might have to quickly round this up if that's cool.
That's fine. Yeah.
It's like past dinner time here.
My stomach's growling a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, mine is. It's one of the only drawbacks as well. I didn't really get a chance to eat earlier, and I've sat here and had a bit of a smoke, which is a problem. So, there's nothing like getting a little bit high and getting them munches. So
Right.
you know, let's let's just quickly round up talking about one last thing about your show.
Yeah.
Obviously, 8 years in.
Yeah.
Do you ever plan like stuff every year as like an anniversary type show, like as from like the day you started, like your first one?
I do on occasion a year end show right around New Year's Eve, but I don't do anniversary. However, if there is a milestone, I do talk about it. I took a year and a half hiatus actually. Um, it just social media just I don't know did me in so much. But so I came back after the George Floyd stuff, and that's what really kicked it back into gear of me getting back on because I'm like I got to talk about some shit.
Yeah, yeah,
So about that time, I celebrated that this year coming back. I was proud of myself. But I don't really count episode numbers, so I don't have a
yeah.
numerical
Okay.
milestone. I just, I'm happy if I make it another month, keeping up with it, because the world is getting crazy. I'm busy with work and life, and I'm like, I'm more focused on the milestones of other people that I'm trying to get to develop their podcast. So that's what I try to, set milestones for. Maybe like achievements of getting to a certain number of listeners, trying something new and it works. Like I got this newsletter that's probably going to be bi-weekly. So celebrating little milestones like that, and I try to incorporate it into the show. But normal episode based milestones, I don't technically do that, but in an indirect way, I guess I do.
What made you choose not to?
That's not answering your question, is it?
That's what made you choose not to number them? Was there any particular reason? I mean, I didn't to begin with. I was just putting it out, and then I was like, maybe I should number these.
Um,
But it was a bit of a
I
pain
don't
in the
know.
ass.
Yeah, yeah. That's mainly the reason why I didn't do it. It would have been a pain in the ass. And at some point, I mean, the UIs or the podcast apps, they updated to you can see how many episodes they loaded on the RSS feed anyway. So I'm like, they can
Yeah,
figure
it
it
makes
out.
sense.
Yeah.
That
They
makes
figure it out.
perfect sense.
Yeah.
Well, listen, man, this has been a fucking great conversation.
Yeah,
It's
man.
been super, super fun, man. I'd love to get you back on again. Always invite people back on. It's been
Need to
super
have you on
fun.
my pod too, man.
Absolutely. No, completely, 100%. Um, the next time I'll probably have a bit of a drink. I'll try and keep it a bit
Me too.
less. Okay. Well, that was the thing as well. That first time we spoke, you was like, "Oh, it's probably a good idea." I had a bit of a tipple or whatever it was. I was a bit fucking tipsy, and I was like, "Oh, damn it, man!" Like again, my back was fucked, and it was
Oh
such a
yeah.
shame because I was like, "Oh, it would have been a great show." Just
Yeah.
again,
Yeah.
I do like drinking on my shows, but yeah, man, we can do it back and forth.
All
I'll come
right.
on and I'll
That's
have a little
cool.
drink, man.
That's cool
We'll
with
have to
me.
arrange something. Well, listen, where can people follow you, friend?
Oh man. Got the Facebook group, facebook.com/ Charlie Maverick. You can follow me on Twitter, Charlie Maverick. You can follow the podcast by searching for the Mavcast Podcast Network, or you can go to anchor.fm/ the Mavcast and follow me there, and you can add the podcast to any of your favorite podcast apps. Um, in terms of finding me independently on the podcast apps, I'm everywhere. We just got on Audible last week, so that was dope.
That's
There
pretty cool,
is
man.
a little back and forth issue being added to Pandora, but we'll get past that. But gotta talk to some people.
I haven't
But
heard of
yeah,
Pandora. I have to look into
yeah.
Pandora.
It's the old school. It was one of the pioneers of music streaming. But they didn't really do it in an on-demand fashion. They just had it randomly selected for you. So they're still kicking around. Old people mostly listen to it because that's the only app that they haven't figured out how to uninstall on their phone.
That's funny, man. What makes you want to get on that? If it's just for that reason, just because they can't get rid of it?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to get on there because it'll still reach a lot of people. I know that the Alexa speakers. Hope I didn't set off anybody's speakers off. Sorry.
It's
I mean, sometimes your music service would default to Pandora. So that would give a little bit more low barrier of entry to whoever wants to listen. You can ask your podcast catcher or your speaker. Ask your speaker to find the show. They can do it for yours too.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
I completely forgot about
yeah,
that. I mean,
yeah.
we was set up smart at one point, but it was just I don't know. I mean, we got a Nest, but I don't know. It's just easier to use your phone. It become almost a problem. Smart lights, all cool, but like when you get
They're a
in
problem.
yeah, when you get in like, it was just a moment where I was like, the speakers in every fucking room. I was like, and any time you'd say
Mhm.
something, they'd just pick up back and forth and
Yep.
start having their own conversation at points. I'm like, nah, fuck this, man. So just
Yeah.
ended up selling them all in the end. But
It's still a
listen, man.
problem in my house. We struggle with that
Yeah.
every time. I'm the IT guy here too.
And you're having problems with it.
Yeah, it's like man, it's crazy.
No, well, listen, this has been super fun again, man. And like I say,
Yeah,
we'll
man.
definitely have to get something arranged. Well, listen, this has been Postman Podcast. Been here today with Charlie Maverick Smith. Catch you on the next show, people. Thank you very much.
Be
Bang, just a
cool.
little